A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in the diaspora and Guyana and elsewhere, fellow citizens of Guyana. Today, I'm going to deal with a historical event of people who are fighting each other over land, territory. This has been going on for thousands of years, and we have seen great empire rise and fall. And we could name them by our fingers because nothing lasts forever. Especially when you are taking side and making wrong decisions, knowing that you are wrong and still taking side. Why am I saying this? Which brings me back to the episode of what is happening right now in Israel, Palestine. Friends, my wholehearted condolence goes out to the Palestinian family, to the people of Palestine, the people of Israel. For the politicians, them, are making war and calling the shot, and no one is listening to the voice of the innocent man, woman, and child. Sometimes I ask, why are we in this world? To make life hard for others? Killing people for what belongs to them? According to the historical facts of my Jewish brothers and sisters, there was rejected from 100 and something country, according to information is alleged. And if that be the case that there happens to be the Jews in the time of Moses, even he was fed up with them. If they are God's chosen people, then I wouldn't like to know if they were not chosen. But what amazed me, if the Bible is true and the Holy Quran, then these people are relative killing each other. If the story of Abraham with Sarah and Hagar is true, and not just some writer write something to make a name and corrupt the world. Well, let's deal on the biblical point of view, ladies and gentlemen. Abraham, according to the Bible, his wife Sarah could not have bring forth a child for him. Or maybe, by the way, she was barren. Maybe the time was not right. But she said to him, Abraham, go to bed with your slave. But today, in modern world, when I sit down to analyze it, and he did, she got pregnant, make a child. I think his name was supposed to be Ishmael. Then Sarah become pregnant and she make a child. Sometimes I ask, is this a Nancy story or a bedtime story? Because if it's the same genetics from the father and consent from the wife, who happened to be Sarah, tell that man to make love or sex to breed his slave, she herself have committed a crime. According to me, I don't care what nobody say, she commit a crime. One says shalom, the other one says salam, and the whole world is in alarm from that day to now. If Abraham was alive today, living in the United States of America or the civilized world, he would have been in jail to be mental cruel to a woman and a child when he drove them out into the desert to die. Or maybe sell as a slave too. Again, my friends, sometimes I question a lot of things. And I ask, where is God, Allah or Bhagwan? What is he waiting on? According to information, it's alleged, the Prime Minister, Mr. Netanyahu, before the 7th of this attack, would have problem in Israel, maybe they would impeach him, maybe he would have been out of government and he would have faced the legal department. One must ask, those people, as they claim Hamas killed, kidnapped, I am asking, are they the same Israelite that was there in 1947-48 that was to go to Georgetown, Guyana? According to my information, Jews from all over the world was going there. They call it the Promised Land. Moses couldn't take them there. Joshua couldn't bring them there. But thanks to the United States and Britain, they get there. I didn't think God talked to England and America. The President, Churchill, Chamberlain, and the President of America. But whatever it is, it's a divine thing, they say. 100 and something country, these Jews was kicked out from or couldn't stay, turned away and all kind of things. Ladies and gentlemen, it stands for a reason. What does those other nations knows make they didn't want them to stay in the country? What America and Britain know make they didn't even keep them where they are? But again, there is good and bad amongst every race, every nation, every religious sectors. Netanyahu may have declared war because he claimed what happened with Hamas and what they done. And yes, if so be the case, I will not blame him to defend these people. But go after the killers, not the innocent people, women, children, killing journalists that exposing it. Friends, this story cannot sell. I think it is genocide. And the United States of America, a nation that went to the revolution against Mother England and others and get your independence in the 17th century. And I must say, you must not to be blamed for the killing of the indigenous people. But those who have done it, they have long gone, and I hope hell is the place. But still, why are we going around killing people for land? And then, if the history is true, they arrived in 47, 48 and was welcomed by the people. My friends, today I will tell you what I believe. I think our President of America, England and elsewhere should stay silent and call for an investigation into this matter. I will not be your judge, for God is the judge and time is the jury. For no wrongs that you have done, you will escape it. Babylon fall, Rome fall, Britain fall, and many more fall before, and many more will follow later, not long from now. We cannot go around killing people because of a group. The Taliban was killing people. In Africa, in Nigeria, and other places, Boko Haram was killing people, kidnapping children. Again, according to information, Boko Haram in Nigeria are Muslim. And they're killing people, kidnapping. You have to become a Muslim. Friends, it's no different from Netanyahu with his Jewish counterparts killing another race. So with that, and I will say much more, it is time for this world to stop the wasteful killing of human beings when you didn't give them life while you're robbing them that. And none of us will live forever. My friends, according to information, and I have to congratulate our Jewish brothers and sisters out of Israel who are protesting against this war. According to information, it's alleged that those who was killed on the 7th of October, they were the Jews who are coming from different walks of life and enter. And according to information, it's alleged again, the houses that they were staying in was what taken away from the same people when they are bulldozing their houses, running them off of their own land. While the world sit blind and deaf is, we are talking about humanity and what is right and equality, but we are involved in it some way or the other. We have one major war now with Ukraine versus Russia. And we are giving billions of dollars taxpayer money to free our fellow brothers in that part of the world against Putin or put out. But today, we turn back and supporting Israel while they're carrying the killing field. I want to ask the Honorable President of America if he was looking a couple months ago how those houses was bulldozed. And why when the journalists expose what's happening, they are all being killed or the family are being killed. This is a catastrophe and it will be on our doorstep in America by taking side, either side. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. When Japan tried in Pearl Harbor, we give them 2 bombs. And if they didn't surrender, you would not have a Japanese owning history book. Friends, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I look at the UN affair with all the nations. And so help me God, Allah, Bhagwan, Jah, whatever you want to call him, Guy way, whatever way. It is wrong to kill innocent people. And it is wrong to invade country when they open hands to you and you're running them out of it. If you are the chosen people, well, I rather would live in hell next to the devil. But friends, again, not all Jewish people stand for this nonsense. There's mass demonstration all over the world where Jews are taking part and speaking out against this killing field. My friends, the world stand up with Israel in World War II, even though Hitler was trying to destroy Mother England. The world stand up. And when the Jews was massacred in God's timber, the world was there. Where are the world today? I'm only asking these questions. And it is time to stop the war. I look at South Africa, a young black brother, what he says and what he explained about the apartheid system. And he mentioned Nelson Mandela's name, honorable, not miserable. My friends, what does it gain for a man to gain all he wants in the world but yet lost his soul? None of us will live forever. Why we cannot save the bombs and guns and the killing and make this world a better place for humanity? Today, I sit here as a Guyanese, and what I'm going to say might offend my politicians. As you might be aware that on the 2nd of December, Mr. Maduro of Venezuela, the president, is going to go on a referendum to ask the Venezuelan people in their vote whether to take 60% of Guyana, what they are fighting for all them years, and that thing was settled by Britain and Spain and whoever. But what is amazing, This is no different from Israel versus the Palestinian. Where are the indigenous people on both sides of the fence? Mr. President Ali and Vice President Barjaglia? Where are the indigenous people from Venezuela to Guyana? Or they have no voice? But great-grandchildren who are claiming slavery and emancipation, and those who are claiming they arrived, coming together to fight for a country when you already identify yourself that you're free and you was a slave, it's time to go home, and you arrive, your visa run out. You may not have a voice. So, Mr. Ali, get all the Amerindian leaders, the Shatau, whatever how they call them, to protest and call on the international community to represent Guyana and even Venezuela. Because Maduro came from Spain and he's claiming a country what the Spanish also massacred indigenous people. Rightfully, he should go back to Spain if that is what is happening. Now, I am not against the man. He may have a legal battle, but where is he an Amerindian? Maybe a Hugo Chavez. If he had speaking, I would have believed, because they say he also have indigenous blood in him. But Mr. Maduro, like Mr. Ali and Mr. Barjaglia and Mr. Norton, you don't have indigenous blood in you. Can a Chinese fight to represent India or the Taj Mahal? No, he got to be Indian. Or Kashmir? Come on, friends. Or any part of Africa? Can an Indian or Chinese fight to represent them, to claim it? That is his own. Ours? No, it must be an Africano. So what am I telling you this for? You learned gentlemen, professors in law, professors in the university. You write the book. You have divided nations by putting boundary. That I remember when the Ukraine war began. The Kenyan representative in the UN, if I remember right, made a speech that he should have been given a Nobel Prize. He says, you European colonize Africa. You colonize family. Divide. But we learn to get along with each other. But y'all can't get along with your own law. It was a slap in the face of the European over Russia and Ukraine. When Gorbachev have given everybody their freedom, thanks to Ronald Reagan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we sit down to look at a lot of things that is unfair. And I will say here to the people of Israel, I am in great sympathy with your nation for all the tragedy you went through, thanks to corrupt politicians that calling the shot, but they and their family and their close allies is not getting hurt. Only you are in the open air. I condemn Hamas for killing people, but I must also condemn Israel too. Because you are killing people who done you nothing, but they welcome you into the land. 1947, an historical event that create a catastrophe for the 21st century, thanks to the United States and Britain. But I would have rather y'all be in Guyana. We wouldn't have this problem with Maduro over Guyana and Venezuela. And we wouldn't have the problem in the 60s when the blacks beat, rape, and kill Indians in Mackenzie, Wisma, and other places, and push bottle in 5 or 6 year little your private parts and tear them. You black people may not like it, but again, there's good and bad amongst all of us. You have ignorant or stupid Indian. Would kill for Jagan. I remember a story with a young man Any father, he's a PPP, was, he died now. I wouldn't call his name because of the family. He was so busy with Dr. Jagan's business. One day his father said to him, I want to ask you a question, my son. If Dr. Jagan is on a ship and I am on the same ship with him, and the ship going down, you have to save one person, who would you save? The boy answered bravely, it's obviously that. Father smiled because he thinks his son would have said him. He said, obviously that. I would save Dr. Jagan. The father said, what about me? I'm your father. He said, you only give life to me. Dr. Jagan trying to save everybody else's life. That man run to his son, I have to jump between. He got to kill his son. Illiterateness, brainwash. So, my friends, how y'all would feel that your house being bulldozed by the people you help, and bullets have been firing, killing your young ones. And what is the right of the journalists of the freedom of the press when our Israelite police and soldiers are shooting them down for exposing the truth? But we condemn Adolf Hitler. We look for the Nazis all over Argentina, Brazil, and all about. Friends, did not we learn something? Saddam invaded Kuwait. I protest for it at 72th Street in Manhattan. Saudi Arabia exploit African and Indian and Philippine children, man and woman, who they may rape, they enslave and beat and kill. But y'all ain't doing nothing. Same goes to Egypt. Libya, under Gaddafi, was a paradise for foreigners and nations. But when he was murdered in the gutter, all because of some kind of currency problem, it's alleged. Friends, look at Libya today, day and all with the slave trade. In modern time, raping and killing foreigners. It is time for you, the African leaders, to speak with one voice and unite. You are only divided by boundaries and languages because of your European teachers who once cherished your land. So let's get back to the Guyana affairs now. I have seen the opposition met with the president, Mr. Norton. I have seen Mr. Ramjatan and Norton was giving a statement. But I want Mr. Norton to know Jesus had Judas and Peter. Be careful how close you are to those who go against their own, pretending to hug you, for Judas is still around. And how could any man speak against injustice when there was security minister lock up innocent people, order them to be beaten naked, and say his investigator told him the man played guilty when we have all the paper, and are you walking with him nothing? May the good God answer my prayer. Y'all have done us so much wrong, and if I have to take a side between Venezuela and Guyana, tell me Norton, tell me Ramjatan, tell me Mr. Ali and Barajagdio, which side you think I must take? Y'all tell me. I'm a mixed race. I was humiliated, I was robbed by Indian people over land. Ali, at Latri, Bagastong, that case ain't finished yet. And Mr. Mohan Lal stop us from going through an egress and egress road under a Kuli government. What y'all are doing about it? But y'all want to fight Venezuela as much as they want to fight Guyana. If your citizen is not happy because you're corrupt, the enemy of my enemy will be my friend. It's a good saying. What you say, Mr. Barajagdio? Because I know you. And Ali will not put on a military uniform and face the bullet if that thing get out of hand. It would be the same black men who Burner put there that do a lot of wrong will have to stand up and take the bullet. And that is a way of decreasing the population if we start something like that. So I urge you, the military, the police, if your president and your vice president and the opposition leader don't have on a uniform and stand up at the border with a gun, think of your family. Think of your generation. Because the Venezuelans would stop at nothing, and we don't need that to happen. We should be able to live as neighbors, as friends, share our hospitality. And Venezuela, under the late Hugo Chavez, have done something great, not only for Guyanese, but Colombians and others. When in Guyana, nobody, black, Indian, or nobody, if you don't have political contact and willing to thief your neighbor property and get a corrupt lawyer who know a corrupt magistrate or judge and a police, you will get nothing because you're thieving. So nobody in Guyana could tell Israel they're wrong when the whole court system in Guyana is corrupt. Plenty, I got plenty of your name, you know. And therefore, they use the black police to beat and lock you up. Maybe kill you too. So nobody in Guyana should say Israel is wrong, even though we all know they're wrong. You cannot have the same disease and blame a man for the same thing, Ali. Nothing. And by the way, y'all are foreigners. One emancipated as a slave, as you say, go home back. And one arrived, but y'all don't want to go home. You are not the owner of the country. I don't hear the Portuguese say he arrived, or he's a slave, he was, or the Chinese, only the blacks. And you're asking for reparation. Well, if you're asking for reparation, then you got to talk to Britain. And you will have to leave Guyana naked as you're born. Because you will get your gold, but you got to go back in the hole. Come on, friends. Stop that nonsense. While the Indian, on the other hand, in Guyana, between the two of you, you black people are racial. Make no plans about that. It's not a 6 and a 9 here. I tell you the truth because I got both of you blood in me. But amongst 200-something thousand blacks, 70 to 80 to 85,000 honorable, genuine, loving, kind, devoted people. God can open heaven and allow you to enter without any problem. But and the rest is garbage, lack of education, culture affair, tribal affair, and there's who the politician use, the less educated, the ignores to do the nasty work. While the Indian, on the other hand, you are not racial. There's a difference from a tiger and a lion. You are very presumptuous, very vindictive, spiteful, covetous. You're so presumptuous, and you are very ungrateful. But again, you have good one amongst you. And when they open up their mouth to educate you, you humiliate them. You insult them. You tell them how their mother make them. You run them. You light fire on their house because of corrupt politicians like Dr. Jagan and others. Burnham, Hoyt was an honorable man. Very honorable. The Indian used him and vote him out. Thanks to Jimmy Carter. But I want my black brothers in Guyana to know, y'all never win an election. It was a coalition put Guyana in a so-called independent. The Amerindians still running in the jungle. They're still there. They didn't get their country. You black people got to come up the nonsense like the late Walter Rodney, how Europe underdeveloped Africa. He's right, but you should have said how Europe educate the Africano, but in different languages. Today, your doctors, lawyers, scientists, professors, I keep repeating it to you. You hear? You come out of tribal affair. You have three-piece suit, nice black shoes, guitar in your hand, saxophone, kicking soccer, making millions and billions, driving BMW, Rolls Royce, flying plane, helicopter. You have boats, speeding boats, you have ships. But you cannot hold a good relationship with a woman. My friends, you may hate what I'm telling you. So let's get back to Guyana, Mr. Ali, President. You will use the international court. If Maduro have a problem, he must take it up with England. Because Guyana belongs to Guyanese. But just because of your corruption, 100 and racism, 120,000 Guyanese went over to Venezuela. That Hugo Chavez the late bulldoze land and give them to build their house. All they had to do, pay maybe 4,000 of their money, which is not much at the time, for a transport. And you Indians take the same bloody nonsense in Venezuela, fighting one another for land. What do belong to you? My friend, there was a good leader in Venezuela in the 70s, Mr. Perez, if I remember right. Was decent and honorable. And Mr. Chavez, Hugo Chavez, another decent individual. Mr. Maduro may have a different opinion. According to information is alleged, he threatened the opposition, he locked them up. No civilized nation need leaders like that. So, I urge you Guyanese, Indian and black, if you are going to vote against Israel in the UN, condemning them for a crime that they are doing, just let a mirror and look at yourself. And look at the Amerindian and the other races, what you all have hurt. Think. So before you clean the shit from Israel's ass, start to clean it from yours first. I like to be open-minded. They are good Jews. They're good Chinese. They're good European. They're good black people. They're good Indians. Imagine in India, they all couldn't even agree over religion. One talk about Krishna and Ram, the other one talk about Muhammad and Isa. And y'all couldn't agree. You divide India. Because you Indians love land. You love money. Y'all are just like the Jews. I'm wondering if y'all DNA is not close. But then again, if it is true, that is it. So how could you tell Israel they are wrong when you yourself are wrong? Huh? I remember a story, a friend of mine went to the zoo in America. And he was looking around and his little granddaughter was looking around. And he's a black brother from Jamaica. He's strong. Everybody have their own personality, their own looks. And he was looking at the little gorilla and laughing and pointing and telling daughter, you see how ugly that animal is? And the gorilla stand up and was staring at him and shaking his head like that. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy is actually ugly like the gorilla, but he couldn't see himself. What I'm trying to tell you, we make jokes of things, but all humans resemble animal some way or the other. You Indian love to call your husband, if you're a woman, jackass, and he love to call you jackass. And I remember a story like that on the West Coast, where a man was calling his wife a jackass, and the donkey, who's a real jackass, was grazing, look up, and he started to laugh him. Think of it. We say things and do things not knowing the meaning of it, and then we want to be Mr. Right. So if you go to condemn Israel as a Guyanese, start condemning the black leadership and the Indian leadership. Why Amerindian cannot get good position? Why they cannot speak on behalf of their own country? But as a Guyanese, I will do my duty for my country, because I don't believe it belongs to the Venezuelans. as much as it don't belong to the Indian and the black, the Portuguese and the Chinese, but the Indian and the black identify it faster. You are emancipated and go home. You arrive, your visa run out. Stop it and speak together as one. You are plenty Guyanese. I look at all the news in Guyana. The opposition is giving you everything that what is happening with the government right now, what they're doing. And that's their job, they're right. Only to know if it is true. But when the PPP also was the opposition, Dr. Jagan walked out from Parliament for many months to give Burnham the opportunity to do everything he wants. That they were working together. Right, Moses Nagamoto? You two race better wake up. Stop fighting one another. Your enemy is yourself. Okay? And stop listening to these corrupt politicians. They are playing games with your future to keep you all down while they are getting rich. Look what happened with the Amerindian on Madhya. And the young girl was threatened. According to information, it's alleged. Look what happened to the other one that accused a minister. My friends, you may lie to man, you cannot lie to God. You may use all the threats and money to buy your protection and your freedom, but it's only going to last for a short time. For what goes around must come around, and what goes up must come down. So, let's deal with Venezuela and Guyana problem. 120,000 Guyanese family was there since Hugo Chavez. I think if each one got 3 family in the Essequibo, Venezuela just got to wait, they don't have to shoot. Because in the Venezuelan military, Guyanese children who born in Venezuela are serving the police and the military because they speak Spanish. Today, the opposition are saying that the Venezuelan coming over and the ruling party, the PPP party, and give them birth certificate because they need to stay in power for them to vote. Friends, learn one thing. If a man open up his door in the time of your needs, you will be a fool to close yours from him when he turn of needs. I am looking for the human who think like me. We are only divided in languages, culture. Why are we fighting for land that belongs to the indigenous people and we have them down in the back and they are not in front? And we are, oh God, oh Allah, oh Bhagwan, y'all are bloody hypocrites. Will you go to heaven and take away Prophet Muhammad's rights? Jesus? Moses? My friends, you the educated one, I salute you. You the pacemaker, I salute you. You who stand up for humanity, I salute you. For the God is on your side. And remember, whatever wrong you do to people will come back to haunt your generation. The lies you tell on people, the locks up you done to them, your turn are coming. The Shah was a great man of Iran. He used to sit on a golden toilet. What become of him? He died with cancer. You know what's amazing? Most of these leaders are dying with cancer. But we should know they all have cancer because the teeth plenty. Right? They're like octopus. So let us call upon the Venezuelan government to stop their nonsense. And let's work and put this world better. All right, we are neighbors. We might even be family in times to come. So my friends, and for the Venezuelans who are in Guyana, you people better treat them with decency, honor, and respect. Don't put them in whorehouse, you'll treat them, beat them and kill them, and stop the killing of your women. You illiterate fools. Educate yourself. So therefore I call upon Israel to stop the bombardment of bombing and killing innocent people, children. I call on the African continent and the Arab to be united and force the United Nations to accept the mandate of peace and disarm the military of Israel and send the UN peacekeeping force in it and investigate Mr. Netanyahu, because that fence was more protected than anyone around the world, more than the Berlin Wall. Friends, why it was so convenient when he was about to lose his position and maybe get jailed, according to information it's alleged, sudden the wall was breached, the alarm wasn't working, the soldiers were sleeping. And according to information, how the people cut it and some flew him with parachutes. Now, I don't mind that, that's Nancy's story. But I'm not here to judge Mr. Netanyahu. We are here to call to stop the killing. And an investigation must take place. And the United Nations must stand their grounds and talk about human rights. We are tired hearing information and things. Are y'all not seen how many houses bulldozed in the past? How y'all would like to know Mexicans that living in California and Texas start to bulldoze American houses and say this land is ours? Trust me. Y'all just had an example with Pearl Harbor, and Japan paid the price and had to stop. So I call upon Joe Biden, our president, Kamala Harris, the vice president, the attorney general, and all others, change your tone of voice and give rights where rights begin. For today is them. Tomorrow might be us. Let's unite and push humanity, equality, justice for all as brothers and sisters under the blue sky. I salute my Jewish brothers and sisters who stand up for human rights, who are against what Netanyahu is doing. I stand up with people who condemn the killing of innocent people around the world and exploiting and enslaving them. With this, I want you to know, I am your host, George Correa, but I would like you to subscribe. Thank you and have a good day. Peace.